Hello everybody, you're very welcome to this episode of Object-Oriented Programming. In this episode we'll continue on and look at more detail about modules and packages. And we'll look at organizing module contents. Inside a module we can specify the classes, the methods and the attributes. And we can have global classes, but we can also have a single global object. Let's see a case where that would be helpful. If we think about our e-commerce system, and we said we just want one Python file to connect to the database, we can't have a bunch of different ones connecting to the database. It's not the class that does the connection, it's the object or instance that does it. So we would like a single global database object, and all the other modules call that to connect to the database, but we can't have all of them with their own connections because that causes trouble. So our database module could look something like this. We declare a class called database, it does stuff, and then we declare an object, database1. That's an instance of that class. So database1 now is available if this program is in a folder called e-commerce or a package called e-commerce. Then if we say from ecommerce.database import database1, we're importing the object. The only problem with that is, as soon as I import it, it gets incorporated into the namespace and it's executed. So every import will cause a slight delay because a database connection is made. So it might slow down your file. So there's something else you can do, which is you can declare your class, then declare your instance, but not make it of type database for the moment, and then create a new method called initializeDatabase, which has a global database1 variable. It's the other variable out there as well, and it is the instance of the database class. So now if I import this file, it's not when I import it that the database1 becomes database, it's when I import it plus I run the specific method initializeDatabase that the database connection is made. So that's a really handy thing to do. Wrap your instantiation in a method if you don't want it to happen all the time. There's a slightly interesting thing we could do as well. We can differentiate between, if I'm running a module from the command prompt and I'm running a module by having another object call it, and we have a variable called __main __ to do that. So if we had, let's say, useful class, and in our main we say we're creating an instance of the database, and then we check if the name of this class is called main, then execute main. What that means is, if I'm being called from the command prompt, run main. If I'm not being called from the command prompt, if I'm being called from another object, then don't run main. So that's a really neat way of knowing whether we're running from the command prompt or not. And up until now we've assumed that a class contains methods and attributes, but in fact you can do it the other way around. You can have a method that contains a class. So let's look at the following 2 pages of code. In this bit of code, I have a method called formatString that takes in a string and takes it in a way of formatting it. So it could be make everything lowercase, make everything uppercase, make everything italics, make it bold. That could be formatting stuff it does. By default, it's none though. And our default formatter says just put all the text in title case. Now, let's think about that for a second. We've declared a class called default formatter, and inside that class is a method called format that capitalizes the first letter of each word, title case. So then if the formatter is equal to none, that is to say none has been specified, we use the default class and we title case it. So then if we print out hello world, how are you today? And then we say format string on that. Let's go back to format string. We pass in the string, hello, how are you today? with no formatter. Therefore, the default formatter will be run. So if our input is hello world, how are you today, our output will be the capitalization of each letter in it, but it's a class within a method. And that's exactly what I'm saying there. So thanks very much. We'll see you on the next episode.